Well, it is Friday, and I'm David, and you're here, and this is Sin City Crypto. We'd like to welcome you. We go live Monday to Friday, I just screwed up my entire intro. Either way, extremely exciting show today. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to give you an update on Binance US. Crypto.com has thrown the towel in on part of their business. Which part? We'll talk about that. We have some life hacks we're going to share, some price targets and price points for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of your favorite altcoins, and much, much more. But first, I'd like to introduce you to your other co-host, Robin.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, well, welcome to the show.
Wow.
That's right. We do it a little... No, I did not. I can diversify my intro.
Wow.
Unlike you, scripted and stale, I can let you know that here we take that old...
You have no idea what you're saying.
We take old, boring, and stale information that you get from other channels. We do it in a fun and sexy way. That's what we do here.
Wow.
That's right. And I can ad-lib.
Yeah.
Unlike yo lips.
Spell ad-lib.
ADD.
You say ADD?
And then lid. LID.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
For sure. Man, I'm excited today, man.
why are you excited?
A lot going on. Well, first of all, Bitcoin hasn't moved. Not very exciting. But we got fiber coming. It's only been a year. So fiber optic cable with high-speed internet. So you will now see us in 4K.
You might be wondering, well, guys, how did you make it through without fiber? Well, I'll tell you how we did. By channel sponsor Cam's Blue Wire Technology, they helped us through our entire issues. All those times our network went down, guess who we called? Cam's Blue Wire Tech. If your business is having IT problems, networking problems, you're going to want to give them a call or visit bluewiretech.com or just click the link in the description of this video. Fridays are my favorite days because, one, it's the end of the week and heading into the weekend and shenanigans, but also, I don't have to listen to Rob all show. I can also listen to my good friend, Forrest. Let's bring him in. Forrest, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man.
I'm doing well.
Pleasure is
How about
ours,
you?
sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you excited as we are about our fiber? Not that you should be, but just curious.
Yeah, no, fiber is a game changer. I got fiber here directly into the house. It's amazing.
My dude.
Couldn't live without it.
This studio doesn't work out. We're going to have to move in with you in Georgia.
That works. We'll throw up a studio in the living room.
That's right. All right, guys, let's start off with some Friday.
If we had bunk beds, would you sleep on the top bunk bed or the bottom bunk bed, David? I'm just curious.
I don't know. Hopefully we'll never have to cross that bridge. But I did find a video. I always talk about here how Rob and Rocco are in cahoots with each other. And I'm always, I'm a kind of person, I can look inward and I can look outward and I can say, you know what? I was wrong or I need some attention. Well, I found a video of our exact scenario and I would like to share with you all. So, Robin is the dog that's getting kisses on the head. Guy in the red shirt is Rocco. And, well, I'm the Bernese Mountain Dog on the right. And I'm just like, hey, man, I'm here too. Don't forget about me, Rocco. Please, pet me. Give me kisses. Do something. And
Is that how you feel? Like a neglected dog?
Yeah, hold on, wait. Don't go anywhere.
Please.
Sorry, guys. I gotta do this.
Please, come give me a kiss.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, here it is. I've never even seen Rocco on the side of the studio. You know how to need Google Maps to get back to your station? I've never seen you over here.
Use Google Maps, not Apple Maps.
You brought it out a dog.
Me and Rocco actually carpool to the studio. Did you know that?
Shocker.
Yeah. Rocco, why don't you pull up my laptop? Here's actually a video of us on our way into work in case you're
I only drive in reverse from here to work and to work to home.
Well, here, Rocco, you got my laptop here. I want to show everybody.
Let's go.
Yeah, this is
Oh, what is the laptop?
Oh, never mind. Hold on.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
I forgot. I need to refresh
What happens
this
when
thing.
you have Adele?
Yeah, did you say Adele?
Not the singer.
Oh, okay.
Talking about a Dell computer. While Robin's pulling that up, we do have a life hack. I mentioned life hacks. There is there's children that.
Okay, I found it.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we
Okay,
go.
let's go.
So,
What is this?
What's mine?
Okay. So which one is it?
that would be Robin's laptop. There you go. So the two of us.
Oh, what is that?
So who's the little kid? Is that you, Robin?
Oh, that's Rocco.
Rocco's the kid. Okay, he's
Yeah.
older than you.
You know, all in one fell swoop right there, right off the
That's
bike.
pretty
So there
clean,
you go.
actually, man. That's pretty smooth. Now, speaking of children and life hacks, like I mentioned, there is a new way. You know, we're always looking, how is the quickest way we can acquire and retain knowledge? Well, someone's broken the code, and, well, we want to share that with you today. So, Rocco,
And it's yours now.
now it's mine, yes.
Okay.
You simply grab from the book and just enter it into your brain. And it's...
I've been telling you that doesn't work, Dave. You do that every morning.
I don't know why that's so funny. Also, last week we showed you Michael Jackson playing basketball. Well, here's Michael Jackson doing some mixed martial arts. That's really good. Dude's
you know, there's a lot of Michael Jackson street performers out here in
There
Vegas. Maybe we get somebody in the studio.
It's one of my favorite. This video is so good, dude. All right. And finally, when you stay invested in crypto while the SEC sues Binance and Coinbase, we're gonna need volume on this one, Rocco. We're gonna have to hear the audio.
How are you feeling, girl? That was a crazy fight.
I'm super excited. It was really tough. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was definitely a different ball game, but I had a blast. So thank you.
All jokes aside, my fighters are kind of cuckoo. Like, how are you? Like, look at her. She got just beaten to a pulp. And if she's the winner, imagine what the other person looks like. She's like, it was great. It was fun. I'm like, in what world is that great or fun? Say the same thing about, you know.
The fight. This is what you train for.
But like you know, like when your kids are outside playing and they come home and they're like super dirty, and you're like, "What happened?" They're like, "We had a blast."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, except their faces aren't caved in. All right. That being said, Robin, why don't you guide us through the crypto markets and maybe give us some insight on any new patterns you've acquired and put into your arsenal of TA.
that's right. All right, so taking a look, got Bitcoin coming in at 26.5, kind of in the same little zone here we've been for the last. We're going on 4 months now. Between 25, I think it was 25.6 and 30K. And so long-term consolidation. And I don't know, man, I got a feeling we're not going to break out anytime soon, especially because the liquidity's drying up, right? Here in the States, at least. And I don't know. Anyways, another big project that is down, Cardano keeps shedding off. Another 4% today, down to 30 cents, down
Damn.
18% on the week. Do you think this is going to fall under the 30
cents, bro.
You think? I think it was as low as 23 cents. I remember I'd made a significant move on, or a significant profit in the bear market. I bought it at 23 cents, 25 cents, 20. It was 20 something cents. I thought it was 23 cents. I'd nailed a good buy position here.
What do you think it is? You think it's the Robinhood news?
Or 24 cents. I swear I bought it at 23 cents. But anyways, I had bought some here when it was sub 25 cents, and then I had ended up flipping it when it was over 30. I don't remember my exact entry and exit point. But anyways, where I'm getting at is that this is a steal. It's shed a lot of price compared to the rest of the market, especially the other top 10 projects. And so, you know, what is a good entry point? I think maybe we can get somebody with some TA knowledge to give us some insight on that a little later. And then
I'm just curious, before you move on from Cardano, have you guys heard anything? Or have you heard anything as to, we know Robinhood delisted it. Could it be that? Is there anything you've kind of seen or heard about why Cardano is kind of the anomaly here?
Yeah, so basically Robinhood has sent out a message to all their customers saying that they're delisting, I think it's like Matic, Cardano, Solana, and maybe like one or two other ones. But they said basically you have to sell it or withdraw it, or we will sell it for you as of, I think it's like June 27th, right? So like they have $1.3 billion in this other category of altcoins. So we don't know exactly how much Polygon or Solana or Cardano they have.
Well,
but
Polygon
basically as of
down
June
well.
28th, they're just going to market sell it. They're just going to, like, if you are a customer with Robinhood and you don't sell it by that date, they will sell it for you and just add it to your US dollar balance. So I think that's why people are kind of panicking and the market's crashing because, June 28th,
Also,
they're going to market sell and crash the price.
Polygon down significantly as well, since you brought that up.
Solana was listed as well.
Yeah.
Solana was one of the tokens that delisted.
So down 2% just in the last hour. And then on the, or 2% on the 24-hour, 16%. So right there with.
Hold on, is that Tron number 10?
Yeah.
Stop it.
And then you also have Solana down 13%. So out of these big three that have been kind of scrutinized by the SEC, been dubbed securities, and the lawsuit filings for Coinbase and Binance, Cardano, Solana, Polygon. Cardano's down the most, but if you think about it, it does have the biggest market cap. It probably would have the biggest move compared to the other guys, just because there's a bigger network of people that are going to freak out.
Out of those three, which one are you guys buying and holding?
I still like Cardano, especially in the middle of. I just look at it like, hey, what was the best performing bear market asset last cycle?
You mean bull market?
Yeah, or bull market? No, best performing bear market asset at last cycle. And so you looked at where the prices were in the bear market out of the top 20 projects here, and the one that really shined very well was Cardano. It did get up into the number 3 spot in the CoinMarketCap list. And, it having a drawdown on price as much as it did, I think that the community will pile back in. And I'm not really concerned with the SEC labels of the SEC labels of it being a security. They're not in a direct lawsuit. They've just been named in a lawsuit. So I think they're going to be okay.
What about you, Forrest? Out of those three, Cardano, Solana, Matic, at these prices, what are you putting your money into?
At these prices, probably Solana or Polygon. I mean, they're both sitting on some support, but anytime you have forced selling, like Robinhood coming in as a forced seller, and what happens is you get like capitulation because people are panicking about the forced selling, so they're selling. Right. Because they're fearful of forced selling, and then the forced selling actually happens, and you have the potential for the bottom to fall out on a lot of these. So I'm probably not bidding on any of these right now. You could as kind of a shorter term, smaller trade, but this is a situation that I think you could see Solana at $10, and then you just buy Solana at $10, or you could see Matic back down at 50 cents. You buy Matic at 50 cents. Same thing with Cardano. Anytime you get that forced capitulation, usually you want to be a buyer of that. But until Robinhood has cleared their books of all these, I don't necessarily want to be bidding into that. I think you can just based off of the technicals, but you're taking some risk by doing so.
I think as a DCA play, all three are great. I think you're getting massive discount. Sure. I would probably fade Polygon the most out of the three, just because they had a big run up in the bear market. And so they might not have quite a substantial run as the other two, just because the other two have not moved quite as heavily in the bear market. And so, but that's, all kind of just price speculation. And it wouldn't surprise me if Polygon just absolutely rips. I mean, it has the partnerships, it has the network effect because it's running on Ethereum. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Before we get into the charts, Robin, why don't you give some hellos and butcher some names, and then we'll give the
all right. To all of you, if you are new here, say hello so I can drop an hola back at you. We have a couple new people. All right, we got free Eric Ward, Rick Wilson, Johnny Jackhammer, and then Christian Lay with Ley, Mark Farley as well. To all of you.
It's Mike.
Mike Farley, yes. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Also, we have a $5 super chat or €5 super chat. It says sooner or later, CZ will pull the plug on Binance US. I think he already did, essentially, because that's why Binance is in trouble. And the first name, the brand himself.
I want to give a special shout out to Mike Farley. He said he came over from that week we were hosting BitBoy Crypto Show and said never catches a live. He always watches after fact. So he's here today. Mike, thank you. We appreciate it.
And Algosaurus is back in here.
Yeah. I don't know. There wasn't anything Algorand related in the thumbnail. Weird that he's here. Either way, welcome. Forrest, can we take a look at a Bitcoin chart and then anything else you have for us? Give us some of that juicy alpha.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pull my chart up here. My drawings. We'll go picture in picture. All right. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes, we can.
Yep, you're good.
Excellent. All right. So Bitcoin and Ethereum not included in that delisting from Robinhood. Really, really interesting that the SEC and Gary Gensler, I do believe, dislike Ethereum and they want to categorize it as a security. But it's interesting that that Ethereum was not delisted from Robinhood. So it almost seems like Ethereum is getting some sort of lax or special treatment from the SEC, or I don't want to say special treatment, but it's not being lumped in, interestingly enough, with Solana and Cardano per se. But looking at Bitcoin here, I say that because Bitcoin and Ethereum relative to the rest of the market have actually performed and held up pretty decently. And I always like to start out with the easy bands, right? And they're really a great tool for Bitcoin in particular's price action. We can see the last time we, came back down to this 21-week simple moving average, this purple dashed line here, right? We held it as support. We're as of right now, holding it as support. The other level that I want to draw to everyone's attention is a level that a lot of people are paying attention to. It's this 25.2, right? 25.2 was our previous range high that we broke through, and now we're coming in to back test. That back test is incredibly important. It's incredibly important because if we fail support at both the 21-week simple moving average and we fail support at 25.2, which is our range, our previous range high, and we re-enter this range, anytime you poke out of a range, back test it, and fail the back test and get acceptance back into the range, statistically, you're fairly likely to travel to the midpoint of that range or the bottom of that range, right? And this turns into what is called a deviation from the range. So that is obviously for the bulls in the chat or the bulls of us. That is not good, right? However, we're not at that point yet. So far, we've held the 21-week simple moving average. We held above 25.2. I think we came down to like 25.3 or 25.4, depending on what chart, what exchange you're looking at. We want to see a breach of this kind of downtrend, but so long as we're in this zone here above 25.2, I don't think it's time to panic yet for Bitcoin or Ethereum in particular. Right now, Bitcoin and ETH are still trading pretty closely together. I mean, you can see ETH is down 0.27% on the day, 0.17% out of Bitcoin. Meanwhile, you've got stuff like the coins we just talked about, Solana bleeding off 4%, right? So right now, Bitcoin and ETH are holding up, and they're kind of in their own little subcategory, while a lot of these altcoins, because of the SEC, are not looking nearly as strong. So what I'm paying attention to for Bitcoin here is just how we react to price action here. If we just look simply at the structure, right? If we just simply look at the structure of Bitcoin, right? Pullback, support, run, pullback, support. If we hold support here, we can get another run out of Bitcoin. And, a lot of people may think, well, what's going to cause Bitcoin to go up to 35, 36K? Well, a number of things could, right? But it could be the SEC saying, providing clarity that Bitcoin is not a security. They could come out and say, hey, Bitcoin's not a security, but these other ones are. I'm not saying that's what it's going to be, but when this was happening, right, people would have said, well, what's going to cause Bitcoin to rip up to 30K? Well, the narrative for Bitcoin being a hedge against banking collapse when the SVB collapsed here was what ended up pushing Bitcoin up here. So the narrative may come in at a later point, but we just need to see Bitcoin hold support in this crucial zone. If we start creeping down here, right, and we consolidate, or we start getting acceptance back below 25.2, that's no bueno. We probably want to flip short. We want to hedge, right? And then the last thing I'll say is that the trickiest scenario that could happen here is, right, we get acceptance below this, but then we turn it into a deviation and we pop back above. That's when you're going to have to be incredibly nimble, right? You're probably going to want to flip short down here, and then when it reclaims, if it does, you're going to have to flip back long and be willing to shift your bias very, very quickly, right? So you have to be very, very nimble in this market if you're looking to make any shorter term swing trades.
Forrest, out of the 3 tokens we discussed, Solana, Polygon, Cardano, if you're looking for a long trade, which is the one to go with? Are either one of those at a very key support level? I know me personally, I was looking at Cardano at 30 cents. But what are you seeing on those charts?
Yeah, so and I was kind of alluding to this earlier. I'll go over Solana and Matic really briefly. Both are on key support levels, and it's always incredibly uncomfortable to bid the range lows in the bottom of the support. You see we have this channel here, and we came down to this trend line essentially not too long ago. We held it as support, and now we're right back down onto it. So had you initially bid this trend line, I mean, you did get a nice pop of 15 to 17%, and we're back down on top of it. So the risk reward to actually bid here for Solana is much as as uncomfortable as it is, and as much as I dislike the idea of this trade, because you have potentially forced capitulation coming in late June, the risk reward here from a technical perspective is actually pretty good. Just back to the midpoint here, you're getting 4 to 1 if you just keep a stop loss at 1749, 1750, which is a completely reasonable long trade to make. This is going off of technicals alone, not necessarily looking at the bigger picture with the news. I do think that forced capitulation and the idea that we could see Solana being sold off by Robinhood could break us out of the bottom of this range, like we had this deviation here. So what you can look for is to bid at around $16, which is where we held previously. Look for a reclaim. The last thing I'll mention here is with this chart here, if you really want to look to play Solana and you're looking for, in my opinion, probably the best trade setup for Solana, and you're just willing to be patient here, just wait for this downtrend to break and then bid the breakout, right? We've seen this trend line hold multiple times depending on how you draw it, right? We've touched it a couple times. This is a very common pattern. Maybe we get another move down to 16, doesn't matter. But once we actually break out of this and break this downtrend, expect a lot of bids to come in. So we could bleed off for a while and we could break this down at $17 or $18 sometime in Q3, or we could, see support hold and we could break through this time. So that's what I would be looking at for Solana. For the safer trade, look for the actual downtrend to break rather than necessarily trying to bid the range lows. But you can bid the range lows if you have a little bit higher risk tolerance. And then I will just very briefly cover Matic here. Matic is looking rough in the sense that it is now broken through this 1x short level, which is not ideal. So off of this local high, this is where you can no longer short on 1x leverage, but the market is saying, hey, we're going lower, we're still going to short it. At the same time, you have quite a lot of demand in this zone. So what I'd be looking for Matic is I'd actually be looking for a reclaim with 77.4. So the trade here would be like, hey, I want to see this actually come back up and reclaim 77.4, right? And then put a stop loss at a reasonable risk reward level. So I wouldn't be bidding this yet. You could, just because you could just bid this demand zone. I don't hate that. But for me, I'm waiting for confirmation. I want to actually see those bids start coming in before I jump in on board with this trade too. And you'd be looking to target $1 on just kind of a very simple retest. We honestly wouldn't even have to, we could even just not even make it up to $1 and come back up to like 85 cents and just continue this downtrend. So either way, I'm waiting for a reclaim of 77.5 cents to bid on Matic.
I've been taking a look at the analytics as well. Not of any charts, but of YouTube. And apparently we got over 200 viewers and we got 60 likes. That's less than 30%. That's in the 20% range. We are going to end this show right now if you don't hit this like button. So Rocco, you ready to end the stream?
Yeah.
Just saying. You saw the big red end
big
stream button. All right, so do us a favor, hit the like button so we can get this room filled up. I want to, I've been looking at the chat here. First of all, hit the damn like button. Second of all, I got a question to the people here in the chat. Seems like there's been a lot of commotion here with both the Cardano news being front and center. Also, we've had a lot of discussions lately when it comes to XRP here in the chat. And I was just kind of brainstorming here, and I'm like, hey, who are you guys more bullish on? I want to keep this Friday show a little bit more fun. So let's get a XRP versus Cardano going. You got to pick one or the other. What project are you? Which project are you marrying? Put a 1 in the chat if you're an XRP fan, or you can use our XRP emoji. Or put a 2 in the chat for Cardano. I want to know what you guys are bullish on because, hey, both of them are facing uncertain times when it comes to the SEC and regulation. Yeah, let me know. And then we do have a grip of new people as well. So to all of you that are new, do say hello, and we'll give you a shout out back in the form of an hola. We have XRP Freak, Robert Barrett, Musta, Alpha Lamb, ABU, Christian Lay, Wisetree, David FP, and Mars Solo. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. I am just wondering where everybody's going to land on this ones and twos here. But it seems kind of split so far. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, a lot of twos coming in.
A lot of two.
My Cardano people coming in here. All right. So, all right. I know you haven't been too vocal about the fundamentals behind either XRP or Cardano. Is there one that you kind of lean more to that you think might have the long-term success just as far as the overall vision? XRP being deemed the banker's coin and Cardano having that massive community and trying to build out infrastructure for developing countries for banking solutions. Is there any big draw between the two there for yourself, Forrest?
Yeah, I'm split 50-50 on this one. So, and I'll actually bring up like a decent alternative coin, actually a good alternative coin to XRP for that I personally like. So if I had to pick one to put money in and hold that for the long term, the benefit to XRP is it's pretty unique. Yeah, it does have some competition from like Stellar Lumens, and there's some other competition there. But like if they win and they end up being the banking infrastructure coin, like they're going to do extraordinarily well. And they kind of have that like political moat around them where it's difficult to compete with them. So that's the benefit to XRP. The big risk to XRP is obviously this court case that has been going on forever, and the SEC's more adamant than ever that these altcoins are securities. Cardano also faces that same pressure right now from the SEC, but Cardano just performs incredibly well in a bull market. I've been very adamant about this in the past. Like the idea of holding Cardano in a bear market, to me, like I don't want to touch it in a bear market because it like historically, you can't deny the price action. It really underperforms in a bear market. But when retail comes in and starts pushing the market again, just Cardano outperforms everything. And it's because it has that strong community and a strong leader that gets on YouTube and makes videos and communicates with his community, Charles Hoskinson. So in a bull market, like 2 to 3 months before the Bitcoin halving, Cardano all the way. Right now, I mean, it's really tough for me to take a strong stance pro XRP just because of that court case. And it doesn't necessarily mean I'm an XRP hater. It's just like I've got to factor in that as a risk, and there is risk there. The alternative coin that is highly correlated to XRP right now that is also ISO 222 compliant is Quant Network. And I know you guys like Quant Network a lot. I like it a lot. It's really good tokenomics, QNT. If you're looking to have like a correlated play to XRP that doesn't have the direct exposure to the SEC court case, I think QNT is a pretty good option.
QNT, I like it. Yeah, I think XRP is obviously in a less congested space in the crypto ecosystem for what they're trying to accomplish, while Cardano's in the layer 1 smart contract. And I have a feeling that it's going to be more like operating systems, right? For our technology that we have now, where, hey, you might have 10 different apps on your phone that can send money. You have Cash App and Zelle and just to name a couple. There's a lot. And so it's not like you need to operate on one and you scratch the rest. You can, I have a ton of different apps on my phone on how to send money from one to another. And so there's that. But when it comes to operating systems, I think that's very similar to what we have with these layer ones. And we know that, you're either Apple or a Windows guy, or a Samsung or an iOS guy, and there's been competition that has popped up, like Linux and things like that. But I mean, realistically, we like to have just one structure, one go-to platform. Even when you look at, say, search engines as well, social media platforms, I don't tend to diversify too much and have too much competition. And so I think that the layer 1 space will be similar. And will it be Ethereum and a couple others? I think that's more likely. I think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to have Ethereum and 3 or 4 other layer 1s at most, my opinion, in the long term. And with that said, will Cardano be in that mix? I mean, I don't know. Is there? I think so. I mean, that's what draws me. That's the allure of Cardano. However, I don't know, man. I mean, you could get Algorand, Avalanche. I mean, as much as I don't want to say it, I mean, Binance Smart Chain. Who knows? I mean, they had a ton of utility. They had a ton of volume on their smart contract network back when the Ethereum was bogged down with transaction and throughput in the last bull market. And that was just because there wasn't a lot of competition. But I mean, I don't know. And then don't forget about Solana. And so there's a lot of different layer 1s that can rise to the top. I just think that they're going to cannibalize each other. And there's only going to be 2, at most 4 layer 1 winners outright, and top 50 projects, in my opinion. And I think slowly the rest will bleed off. But I mean, I don't know.
I agree with that.
All right. So, is there any other? I know we touched on the big 3 there on tokens. Is there any other tokens or number or any charts that you want to pull up? Something that maybe caught your eye, or traditional finance, S&P 500. I know we haven't touched on legacy finance in a little while, but anything drawing your attention on the charts? Anything we should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, happy to just take a peek here at QNT. So QNT is once again testing its downtrend line. We got a nice little bounce off of it the other day, and now we're testing it again. So this just breaking out here is very bullish. We still have the 21-week simple moving average above us as resistance. But what we need to see is a hold of support above this trend line, a higher low coming in, right? Coming in around this demand zone, right around 107 to 108. So if we're going to get a bid, this would be the place to get it. So it's all a matter of how confident is this market, and is the market confident enough to actually come in and bid QNT here? If it's not, and we fall back down below, this turns into a deviation, right? We probably just continue this downtrend for a while, and you could reasonably flip short. So that's QNT. The other one that was kind of showing a similar setup, a similar pattern, and still is technically, is Illuvium, which is in the blockchain gaming space. Also on the watch list because of this downtrend breakout, right? in a back test of this demand zone on top of the trend line. So again, these are the ones that I'm personally watching to see if, hey, do they hold support here and do they start moving back up? And if they do, that to me is bullish and worth bidding. If not, we start, falling that back down below these trend lines. You could actually look for short opportunities here. So those are just, very, very basic patterns that I'm looking to pick up on. And those are, two coins that I'm watching for trades.
All right. And then I know, before we did this show, we were going over some life hacks for the average individual, like the average guy. Anyways, I won't go into details, but we lost David. He's trying some of our new life hacks out. And so, best of luck to him. So, real quick, I do want to give a little shout out to the people in the chat here. If you're new, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. First of all, I do want to say Dixie Flatline gifted 5 memberships to the community. So big shout out to you, Dixie, a longtime member, viewer, one of our early community members. And then to the new people, Crypto Puppet, we got J Mac Randomness, Cryptic Rebel, David G, Benny, John Crane, Pablo X, who Pablo said, don't forget about Polkadot. And another layer one that is, obviously has a great founding team. And then we also got James A as well. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. And then also, I do want to say, one second. I wanted to double check because I know I was threatening to end this show. Okay, we got a little bit of likes here, but if you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and smash that thing. All right, David, did you did you use the life hack we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
You did?
This was an off-air life hack.
Okay, cool.
Wow. Okay, my bad.
All right.
Ooh, yeah. Rocco, take that note away. Silly. Okay, Boris, real quick, I want to get your take on this, man. We talked about this yesterday. So this tweet from Brad Mills. So the SEC is ordering Coinbase stop all the staking. We know Coinbase is, I believe, the second after Lido, 2.2 million ETH. Now, if they have to give all that ETH back to their customers, right? We know it's not just like, oh, let me withdraw right away. Has to go in a queue. What is that? What do you think the effect that has on the price? And what effect does that have on the network security?
Really good question, and probably something I need to put a little bit more thought into than right off the cuff. But right off the cuff, all right. So they're sending Ethereum back to users. So users are getting it back in their hands so that they're more likely to sell it. But at the end of the day, they just deposited it to CB ETH or staked it with Coinbase for a reason, to earn yield. So their intent was to stake it and hold it probably for period of time. So my guess is that they would just restake it somewhere else, maybe with Lido or another place. But yeah, it could create some panic. It could create some not forced selling, but some people just saying, well, if Coinbase is going to send me back my Ethereum, I'll just kind of sell it. Or it's easier to sell. There's less friction to actually, withdraw it yourself. As far as network security, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head what percentage Coinbase staked Ethereum makes up out of all staked ETH. But obviously, anytime you lose a major player like that, it's going to up the percentages for like Lido and some other big liquid staking products. So
10.
obviously
4,
not good.
10.4% for us.
So yeah, I don't think that this is going to just look, you already have Lido that's making up a large percentage as well. Like I think even a much larger percentage than Coinbase. Do I think this is going to bring the Ethereum network security down to its knees and everything's going to break? No, I don't think it's healthy, but also, it's probably something that is just par for the course in a bear market and something that will ultimately be recovered from given enough time. Other other participants will enter the market and provide other options for staking Ethereum more than likely.
Awesome.
I got $6 on Binance.us. What should I do?
I got like 20. I had Harmony 1 on there, and that thing is pretty much 0 now. That was great. That was fun. Yeah, guys. So speaking of Binance.us, Rob brought that up. I do want to give you guys some an update on what the hell's going on. Binance.us is suspending. So they've already suspended fiat, specifically US dollar deposits. And come June 13th, in 4 days from now, they will halt US dollar withdrawals. Okay. So if you have dollars on there, withdraw it to your account. It's not to say you're going to lose your money or that they are insolvent, because the company has come out and said you guys should take your money, take your fiat off of Binance.us, and they're essentially becoming a crypto-only exchange, okay? Binance.us said it's transitioning to an all-crypto exchange as of June 13th, citing pressures from the SEC. Now, they said this is a temporary transition, but the company also said trading, staking, deposits, and withdrawals in crypto remain fully operational, which for me, the staking part, I don't know. USD deposit that mentioned. No bueno. We're good. Somebody call Blue Wire Tech. We're back. We're good. Okay. We lost Forrest. Okay. All right. So, guys, transition from fiber. That's what we have to do. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is Binance becoming a crypto-only exchange. What's intriguing to me is they decided to stick with their staking program, right? Their crypto staking. I would assume that if you're going to comply with what the SEC wants, and to which some extent they kind of are, right? No more dollar deposits, no more dollar withdrawals. Apparently, the banks that were left to service crypto, because we know Signature gone, we know Silvergate is gone, those banks are not servicing anymore. So the litter to choose from, the lot to choose from is very minimal. And so what this tells me is those banks have said, no, we don't want to work with you anymore, to which Binance said, okay, fine. We'll go to an all crypto exchange. Everything will be in BTC pairs, potentially ETH pairs. Who knows? Maybe some other pairs. But it'll be intriguing to see. Rob, what are your thoughts on this position Binance.us is taking? I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, right? With everything going on, no more dollar deposits, no more dollar withdrawals. We can assume the banks are kind of saying, we don't want to deal with you. But what are your thoughts on them keeping the staking program?
I think that's less of a factor. Here's what they're doing is they're limiting their exposure to U.S. services, right? And what is their U.S. services? It's dollars. And so they're saying like, hey, we're just providing a place to trade crypto.
Right.
And so who has been free of regulation by the SEC? It's been the DEXs, right?
Right.
And DEXs on or off board any fiat? No. And so if you're looking at what exchanges are safe from the SEC, well, it's DEXs. And so it's a logical play. What's the difference between the DEX and the regular centralized exchange? Well, one of them acts as a bank and on and off boards cash. And so you remove that whole functionality. Are you taking investment? Because those are securities, right? So those are investments. And so are you taking investments? Well, if people aren't putting money into it, then the answer is no. Right?
Right.
And maybe this is the start to how crypto operates from now on. And maybe because it's a lot of this lawsuits that have come down, or the lawsuits that have come down on Coinbase and also Binance and a host of others as well, is that there's multiple reasons, but one of them is that they are operating as three different entities. You have a broker, you have a bank, and then I forget the last one. But anyways, they're operating as three different entities that, in a traditional finance sense, for the exchanges should be separated. And here, this kind of separates them from fiat and their banking services. And what I think we might see going forward is that, hey, perhaps you're going to have a traditional bank, a traditional financial institution, or simply just an onboard that does like Bitcoin and stablecoin, for example. Like you just imagine you have like Binance Wallet or something like that. Let's just a hypothetical name here. And all they have is you buy Bitcoin and Tether, and that's it. And then from there, you can move it to wherever you want. And then they're not selling any securities because, you know, you can just say Bitcoin. Just keep it there, right? You can say, hey, they're not selling any securities, and all they're doing is selling you Bitcoin. And then from there, the user can move it around wherever the hell they want and do whatever they want with it. And then if they move it to Binance.us, from there, then you could simply say, hey, this is they're not selling anything because you're not buying anything with cash. You're just using crypto. You're just swapping one crypto from another. And so is that going to be a kind of a workaround for crypto? I think it's possible. Right. I think that's kind of the idea. So when you ask me about staking, yeah, I think it's relevant. You know, the thing is I think they're just trying to remove themselves from the bullseye of the SEC. And I think the bullseye kind of all comes from the fact that you're selling investment products and the medium that you're using to sell those investment products is in cash. And they've removed that. So,
Forrest, what are your thoughts on this update here? And then what are your general thoughts on you know, the whole Binance and Coinbase lawsuits? We know they're civil. We saw Binance get sued. I believe it was Monday. Market started to tank. Coinbase gets sued the next day. Markets start to pump. Maybe talk about that. And then what are your thoughts on this this new development we have here?
Yeah, so I think like long term, like crypto is going to survive here. I think Binance US makes up 17. Don't quote me on this. It's like 17% of the US market for crypto. So like, yeah, it's a big chunk. It's far from ideal, but I think people need to be reminded of the fact that crypto is a global market, and there's a global appetite for crypto and blockchain and Web3 based products. And whenever there's demand for something, the market is going, you know, free markets are just going to find a way to satisfy that demand, because as a service provider, if you can satisfy that demand, you can make a lot of money, right? So I think worst comes to worst, all of this money and all of this opportunity is just going to be offshored to places like Dubai or, you know, South Korea. We're already seeing like Hong Kong step in and legalize crypto. It's just gonna move offshore, and it'll be unfortunate that, you know, U.S. users will have less access to it. But I mean, ultimately, I think there's always going to be a way to, you know, like onboard into Bitcoin, move your Bitcoin on chain or, you know, to another exchange somewhere to start trading altcoins offshore. If you really, really want to find ways to do it. I also think like long term, we'll very likely see, and I could be wrong here because we're dealing with like securities laws. But I'm heavily reminded of the poker scene, like the online poker scene, as well as like sports betting scenes. And what we saw was like big bans for online poker. And now we're starting to actually see certain states legalize online poker, and even, you know, like Texas has pretty friendly laws for like poker rooms and card rooms and gambling and sports betting, and we're starting to see sports betting come back in certain states. So I wouldn't be surprised if, and I could be wrong here because we're dealing with securities laws, but long term, I could see where maybe crypto is something that's handled more at the state level. Maybe 5-10 years from now, it's legalized in certain states, and in other states it's not. You have certain states that allow lottery systems and other states that don't. So we'll see where it goes. But ultimately, I think crypto is still going to be fine. It's, you know, there's always going to be global demand for it, and there will be ways to trade it.
Amen to that, Forrest. And, you know, we say this on the show all the time. You've said it. Robin has said it. Crypto is global, right? That is the beauty. It's not like it's traded on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ and something happens and then this is global. So, yes, the U.S. is the largest capital market in the world. But if they decide to shun it completely, there's still tons of liquidity, tons of money overseas in countries like Russia, China, the Middle East. I mean, so we're in a good spot with crypto. And if anything, like I said, these are just buying opportunities if nothing on the protocol level has changed. I do want to share a video Coinbase and Brian Armstrong just put out, America faces an enormous opportunity to be home for the next chapter of financial and technological innovation. Setting clear ground rules will pave the way. 30-second. Let's hear what Mr. Armstrong has to say.
Cryptocurrency, regardless of what you think about it, it's not going anywhere. It can't be uninvented. Most of the world is embracing this technology now to update their financial system. And what I fear is that we're going to be sitting here in 5 or 10 years, and we're going to come back to crypto and think about it like we did with 5G or semiconductors and say, wow, now it's a matter of national security that we get it brought back onshore. The future of crypto technology should be built in the US.
What are your thoughts on that, Robin? You think, like, he draws, we saw what happened with the semiconductors. It went overseas, and eventually they passed a multi-billion-dollar deal to start bringing some of that back on shore because they realized, like Brian said, it's a national security threat. Do you think if other countries and nations and companies globally start to move their business model onto the blockchain and start integrating crypto, essentially, whether you like it or not, you're going to have to adopt it, or, you know, essentially your economy could potentially be harmed? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, we've had many examples. We had the Industrial Revolution here in the U.S. where we were producing most of the global products. We have a large swath of commodities, natural earth metals and oil, and we've been the leader in that space, and we were falling behind there, and we sent a lot of it overseas, and we've seen that we've brought some of that back. You know, during, what was it, the Gulf War, we were falling behind on oil production, and then now we've kind of ramped up and, well, kind of fallen back again. But anyways, there was a big push to bring oil production back here in the States. And so this isn't the first time that we've had infrastructure and technology leave the U.S. Or just broad labor. And I think we're missing out here. And we're the leader in finance, and we're starting to take a back seat there as well. On the Brian Armstrong, there was also an interview he did yesterday, which aired this morning on Bloomberg's channel. Here, I'll just play a quick little thing. This is just to give you a little bit more insight on where we're at in the kind of the regulatory framework when it comes to the U.S. And this is a little backstory. This is 15 minutes long. I'm only going to play about a minute or two. Just give you some insight.
This is a good interview.
Let me turn the volume up here.
Of the 1,000+ assets we've reviewed today, we've rejected 90% of them. The ones we trade, we believe, are commodities. What feedback do you have for us? How can we come in and register? How can we work together? And unfortunately, we were met with silence. We really got no feedback in those 30 meetings. The first meeting where they were scheduled to come and give us feedback, they canceled it a few days before that, and then we got a Wells notice a few days after that. So it's really unfortunate. We work with regulators all over the world, other regulators here in the U.S. I think I'm a reasonable person to get along with. But unfortunately, the SEC under this chair has taken a regulation by enforcement approach instead of creating a clear rule book in the U.S. that can allow this industry to be built in a safe and trusted way.
When was the last time you personally met with Gary Gensler, and what did you say?
Right. So when he first came in as the chair, I flew out to New York. I reached out to him. Our team has reached out. I tried to make an effort to connect with him in person because that's what I try to do whenever a new regulator kind of comes in. Unfortunately, we were not able to connect at that time. I'm not sure why we couldn't get on his calendar. And we followed up a few times in the year after that. We eventually got a meeting that was virtual. It may have been COVID related or something like that, but we were able to get a virtual meeting. But unfortunately, it was frankly like a pretty icy reception, I would say. We sort of came in hat in hand and said, "Hey, Chair Gensler, you've asked people to come in and register. Respectfully, we're here to register. What would you like us to do? What process would you like us to go through?" And his response was, "Talk to your lawyer. I'm not here to advise you." And that was kind of how the conversation started.
Talk to your lawyer.
And at that point,
so what has been echoed over and over again? I think that's a good spot to end it there. What has been echoed over and over again? We've heard it time and time again from the SEC, particularly Gary Gensler, come in and register. They finally get a meeting. They get denied or they get postponed many different meetings. They don't show up, and they finally get to talk to Gary Gensler, and they say, "Hey, we're here to register. This is what you said come in and register. Well, we're here. What do we got to do?" And then he says, "Talk to your lawyer." Like
Embarrassing. It's an absolute embarrassment.
Like that. If that ain't Two-Face, I don't know what is, right?
For me,
it would be like if you have one of those marital counselors. You're like, hey, we're working on a relationship. Okay, let's go to marriage counseling. Marriage counseling. And then your significant other's like, well, here's the appointment. You said you want to go to marriage counseling. I made the appointment. And they're like, nah, talk to my divorce lawyer. Like, right. Well, why'd you tell me this whole time to go seek counseling and do it this way? And the whole time you were setting me up for divorce.
For me, the nail in the coffin as far, because, the people that have been crying wolf have been the crypto exchanges, Kraken, Coinbase, Binance, saying, we tried to register. Gary Gensler said no. And the detractors, the people who are on the side of the SEC have said, nah, you guys, it's just a crypto bros. But then when you had Robinhood come out, which is a publicly traded company, that's not a crypto exchange, right? When they came out and said the same thing, what are you going to say now? What is going to be your rebuttal now? You can't say, oh, it's just the crypto guys. They just want to play by their own rules. No, it's not just the crypto guys. It's the regular guys too. Regular Wall Street people, publicly traded companies that have nothing to do with crypto that decided to bring a service onto their platform because people wanted it. And those people are saying the same things these crypto exchanges are. So that to me, I do want to show the ripple effect of what has been happening and what the SEC is doing. And here we have news that broke today. Crypto.com will be winding down part of their business, and that part of their business is for their institutional clients. Singapore-based crypto exchange Crypto.com will no longer be offering its services to institutional clients in the U.S. effective June 21st. Company announced today. Retail investors will not be impacted by this decision and will continue to be able to use the platform here in the U.S. Now, we have that, and then we have this from Mike Novogratz. He says, crypto retail is the market's silver lining, and this kind of all ties together. He goes on, he talks about, hey, these institutions, they're too scared, they're moving away, they're exiting crypto, but there's a silver lining, and that silver lining is retail. It's you, it's me, it's your friends, it's your family. He said, quote, we thought institutions were going to buy crypto. I've got 430 people in Galaxy Digital all geared up to help institutions to come in and buy crypto, but demand is just not there. He said a combination of bad behavior, tough regulation in the U.S., no regulation outside of the U.S., and high interest rate caused institutional enthusiasm to wane. Now he says the only silver lining is that retail is still buying. It was always the people's revolution, and they're still out there. Novogratz said that to suck people in, the crypto industry will need apps that people can, quote, sink their teeth into. One strong prospect for crypto's appeal is authentication. He says, with all these deepfakes, how do I validate that this actually is my work? So I'm going to start with you, Forrest. Speak on both the Crypto.com, the waning institutions. Mike Novogratz saying there's a silver lining. Some people might argue we don't want institutions in. What's your take on it? Do you think institutions will come back in? What are your thoughts in general?
Yeah, so kind of starting from the top, I mean, I think going back to Gary Gensler, I think he's just a sellout to the highest bidder. I think that's become super clear in how pro crypto he was. He said in his MIT meetings or his MIT courses that these things weren't securities. He's the former SEC chair said they're not securities. He wanted to. I don't know if you saw. He applied to be an advisor for Binance. Like he's just trying to make money, and I think the highest bidder is the SEC and the U.S. government. And this is about more than crypto. This is about controlling money. But going back into the crypto.com thing, I mean, I think it's more of the same what we're seeing with Binance US and what we'll potentially see with Coinbase. I would not be surprised if Coinbase moves offshore and just starts operating globally. Like if they move to Singapore or Dubai, like they'll
You
still
really think they would do that?
Potentially be able to come back in. I'm sorry.
You really think they would do that for us? I mean, they're a publicly traded company. They've said they're willing to fight the SEC. You do like what percentage? What percentage probability would you put on that Coinbase completely exits the U.S. market?
It's tough to say, but what they do have, and I don't know exactly how that would affect their ability to trade as a publicly traded company, but what they do have is a really, really strong brand and customer base. But they would instantly be recognized globally if they moved into global markets and they moved into Dubai, Singapore, and started servicing global clients. I mean, they would probably get plenty of business to stay afloat. It would be my best guess. And if the U.S. becomes that hostile to operate in, and it becomes about survival for Coinbase, I could see a scenario where they do move offshore and just start servicing global clients. I want to remind people, like, yes, the U.S. institution and retail client base for cryptos is massive, but forever since the inception of crypto, China has been, and we saw what happened when China banned crypto, and now they're kind of bringing it back through Hong Kong or whatever, but. The crypto survives, and usually a lot of this stuff happens to line up in a bear market. And when the bull market comes back around and there's extreme demand to speculate, people find ways to speculate, and people find ways to service clients in the jurisdictions that are the most profitable to do so, and that have the most ability to do so. So if the U.S. is going to be extraordinarily anti-crypto, I think when the bull market comes back and the Bitcoin halving occurs again and demand starts skyrocketing, people may only be able to buy Bitcoin and ETH in the US. And if that's the case, I think we'll see exchanges pop up that service Bitcoin and ETH. Or we'll see the offerings from Kraken and Coinbase get pared down to just Bitcoin and ETH. Regardless, I think Bitcoin will be here to stay, but it'll probably become a round trip situation like we saw with China, where they just banned it outright, and now they're starting to bring it back because they want their citizens to have access to it. They want to bring a globally demanded industry home. And I think ultimately that's what will likely happen for the U.S. And we're just in the brutal stages of a lot of this stuff being banned in the U.S. and culled from the U.S., but it'll eventually come back.
Rob did mention on yesterday's show, he painted a scenario where, hey, in the U.S. you could possibly only be buying, trading Bitcoin and ETH. Rob, real quick, what are your thoughts on this institution thing? Do you agree with Mike Novogratz that even if institutions are gone, crypto still has retail? Is that enough to push the space forward?
Yeah, I mean the network, the price. Okay, look no further than the price of Bitcoin, right? I mean, we're still almost 100% up from the bottom, right? I mean, not quite, but I mean, we're pretty close, right? If the bottom was 50, I think we wicked down to 15 something. We all clearly say it was 16,000, but even
15.5.
What was it?
15.5.
So 15.5. So $31,000 would be a 2x away from the bottom. And so with all of this FUD, I mean, we're only I would say a one big news article, one big move to being a 2x away from the bottom. And so if this is, an attack on crypto's dead. I mean, the narrative is pretty loud right now. And, the Bitcoin network's still, chugging along, still making blocks, and the price of Bitcoin's still there. The value's still there. Nothing has changed. Might be a little uncertainty in the altcoin markets, but I mean, that is no different than how Bitcoin is right now as well, right? Yeah. It's just, for me, I think this is just an attack on crypto from politicians, and the politicians are being persuaded to move in this direction by the banking sector. than traditional finance. I think that's literally all it is. And I think in 3 or 4 years, maybe 5, who knows? But in some time, we'll look back at this, and I think politicians will widely talk about it and be like, yeah, we were instructed to take out crypto. You can call it choke point 2.0, whatever it is. We were making a coordinated effort to remove crypto from institutions. Maybe we were wrong about it at the time, but I think we'll look back at this scenario. And I think that's why this coming up election is important. And you know what? Yes. Picking up the phone and calling your representatives goes a long way. See if they're supporting crypto or even against crypto. And if they are, whatever side of the fence they are, why don't you call and be like, hey, this bill is being proposed.
I'm telling you, if enough people call, right, instead of 1 or 2, if it's 50 or 100 people, they're like, they don't have a choice. But
there is, with these elections, especially in these swing states, sometimes it only takes, if you talk to the politicians, it only takes 5 or 6 calls for an office for a politician to swing their decision. And so a lot of times, especially in these bipartisan issues, which crypto is, it's not like the Republicans or even the Democrats will oust you if you take a stance on crypto, because you know what? There is no broad stance from Democrat, Republican. I mean, we can sit here and say one party leans one direction versus the other, but at the same time, you can easily point to some exceptions there. So I urge you to find out who your representative is and pick up the phone, give them a call, let them know, hey, I'm in your district. I want I don't like what's going on in crypto. I want some progressive leadership here in this space. Or
make them explain themselves. Why?
And then also a little shout out. I did see we got a handful of new people here. If you're new, say hello. And to Aztec World, Chris Ergo, Japanese symbols. Don't know how to pronounce your name, but just leave it at that. Isaiah 216, Ray Run, T. Eiler, Inspector Ape, Hashhead, Connor Mack, David FP, Crypto Doge, Rodney Crowden, Crypto Genius, Eric JT, Degen Crypto, and also Mark Zwalgart. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Forrest, we wanted to thank you for joining us. I always say Fridays are fun. It's Fridays are only day we have a 3-person host show, and so you're a part of our channel, my friend. Thank you for joining us, guys. If you're not subscribed to Sistine Research on YouTube, do yourself a favor. Some great TA on there. Also, if you want some of the alpha, if you want to make some money, if you want to join Forrest's Discord, you want to use some of his indicators, you want to support the channel as well, Sin City Crypto, there's an affiliate link. You can use that. Pretty affordable. People that have gone on there have already made their money back. Also, the link to Forrest's channel is in the chat, pinned at the top. And then that affiliate link is in the description of this video. Go follow us on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere. Go buy some merch. Also, if you have network problems, if you need some IT solutions, call channel sponsor Cam's Blue Wire Technology. Amazing customer support, great team. They're an established company. They work with some of the biggest companies in the US. Go to bluewiretech.com. With that being said, you know what time it is. Rocco. Guys, thank you so much. It was an amazing week. Come back Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Robin's Rant and Ramble. Until then, we love you guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.
Sin City Crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Named according to your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger